The UK government has no plans to repeal the Online Safety Act. That is the exceedingly predictable official response to the 376,000 signatures petition to repeal the Online Safety Act, a petition that broke the 100,000 required signatures in less than a day. And it has had absolutely zero effect on anything. See, I don't want to say that it is a waste of time to sign things like these, because theoretically it might achieve something. If 30 million people signed this, enough to overturn elections, then there is a possibility that the professional bureaucrat might decide that their cushy job is in danger and do something. But beyond these extreme circumstances, things like these are a part of a modern-day form of performative bureaucracy that has no hope or effect whatsoever upon the government. It is completely performative. It is sham democracy. It exists to convey a message to the populace that, oh, we totally care. You know, if you get 100,000 people to sign, well, we'll talk about it before dismissing it. It is an attempt to make you, the citizen, think that you have any sort of influence whatsoever on the decision-making processes of the government, whereas, of course, you do not. A fundamental flaw in our supposed democratic society. A democratic society that now, of course, establishes rules against speech on the internet. Not merely the things like hate speech, bad enough in and of itself, but now anti-immigrant sentiment is a crime in the United Kingdom, with special police task force being created to monitor it specifically. And that is the real reason why something like this cannot be repealed. The government doesn't give a shit about children's safety. If it did, it wouldn't allow British children to be gang-raped by the very self-same immigrants that it is now expending a vast quantity of resources and effort in protecting. They are doing this because it is power. It allows the government to ban young people from accessing anything that might be disturbing, as defined by the government, like, say, for example, anti-immigrant sentiment, or anti-government sentiments, for example. This, again, is hardly new. The United Kingdom has been a totalitarian, tyrannical state for quite some time now, with, the Palestine protesters having felt the brunt of this already. And whilst I have precious little sympathy for pro-Palestine protesters, this is of course the effect. You don't like the government's policies? You're going to be made illegal. And we are going to be able to continue to do this because guess what? We have created a new class of voters. We have future-proofed our democracy. How? By creating a group of voters that is amongst the most rapidly growing that will not by now law gain access to any dissenting content because we have determined it to be disturbing. We protect the children from wrongthink, from ideas that the government might find impalatable. Now, don't get me wrong, of course, this doesn't mean that we trust 16-year-olds for anything else. We don't trust them with a car, because that's dangerous, that's responsibility. Can you imagine placing a 16-year-old behind the wheels of a moving vehicle without supervision? Perish the thought. Or drinking? Oh God, no. We would never entrust a child with alcohol. They might do things. No. But the future of the nation, we are willing to entrust them with that. Why? What's the difference? Well, we don't know what the 16-year-old might do with a car. We don't know what the 16-year-old might do with a beer. But we do know, after a decade of school indoctrination, what a 16-year-old will do with the vote. Because we have created an entire system designed specifically to predict and tailor-make that outcome. This is about power. Now, there is still the thing about a official debate, which will be the exact same thing. Best case scenario, some people in opposition to the current government will stand up in Parliament and go, "This is wrong, you tyrant," and Keir Starmer will tell them to sit down and shut the fuck up. And they will, because that's how a democracy works now. Best case scenario, the current Labour government will be overthrown in another half-decade's time. What is it, 3 years until the new election? But with a brand new electoral group rising ever more quickly and educated purely on liberal ideas with no counterpoint whatsoever, even that's looking somewhat dodgy. And then what? The Conservatives? The Conservatives were thrown out of power in the United Kingdom for being nothing more than Labour, but a slightly lighter version that wants everything Labour wants, but 2 or 3 years later down the pipeline. Even the largest opposition party like Reform is led by an establishment politician who usually says the right thing in the form of Nigel Farage, but rarely actually acts on anything of it. At this point, I feel it is genuinely quite safe to say that the United Kingdom is trapped within its own democracy. It is no longer there to serve the people. Indeed, the people, when they do speak out, is simply slapped down and told to go away with loose platitudes. "Oh, thank you all who signed this petition. This was very important. We're not going to take a single one of your points to heart. We're not even going to address them in this spiel right here. But thanks for wasting your time. Thank you for believing in our lie of a democracy. Thank you for remaining useful idiots, for remaining quiet." Now, we're treading a little bit close to the YouTube line here, and we are probably well over the Online Safety Act line, but this is government in the United Kingdom. You can't do anything about it. We've just seen previous examples of a collective shout, shutting down major retailers, and I'll make a bold prediction here as well, which isn't particularly bold, but there is currently an ongoing email and phone campaign directed against Visa and MasterCard in an effort to go, "Hey, we don't like what you did with Steam. We don't like you listening to a bunch of extremist, sex-negative feminists from Australia. We would like for you to know that." It will achieve nothing. It will do nothing. It will repeal nothing. It will be met with platitudes and empty promises at best, if even that. Because this is not about you. This is not about democracy. This is not about the customers. Where are they going to go? They're going to give up on using Visa or MasterCard? They're going to give up on using the traditional payment processors? Or simply boycott Steam until they change their minds? No, of course not. Visa and MasterCard know that they are invulnerable to this. Exactly in the same way that they knew they were invulnerable to Collective Shout's claims, they chose to do this along ideological lines. For the same reason, the UK Parliament institutes this Online Safety Act and then simply just dismisses any and all concerns aimed towards it. For the same reason that it's establishing a special police force to make sure that you're not saying anything dangerous or dissident-like on the internet, to the point of again expanding the voter base to make sure that eventually people will not be able to vote with an informed idea of what they desire. Think about it. 16 years. You're not even fully developed at this point, but even leaving this, even ignoring this, what are you going to be drawing upon to make an informed decision? The social media? It's censored. The media? It's owned by the government. Do you have access to dissident information? Not anymore, you don't. Well, that leaves the school, I guess. Well, unless it's a private school, I think that's going to be a long shot as well. Our experiment of democracy can largely be said to have probably failed. We can't say for sure until another 50-odd years and see if this perhaps can be reversed, but it seems we have succeeded in creating an ever more ignorant populace, ever more disinterested in engaging with politics, and ever less so educated in what politics means. I mean, there aren't even classes in schools today that explains the functions of our civil society, our systems, our political systems, how they function, why you should engage with it. Best case scenario, you've got maybe an hour of class out of 6-7 years that teach you that if you vote and somebody gets X amount of votes, they win. And that's it. We need philosophy back in classes. We need political science to be a fundamental requirement from 6 years up if we're gonna have the voting age at 16. This needs to be the single most important topic taught in schools if we are going to think, for even a moment, if we are going to pretend that teenagers should be entrusted with the fate and the running of a nation. But again, we're not doing this because we want to include more people. We are doing this to, as the title so beautifully says, future-proof democracy, to maintain the current status quo and ensure that it will not change now or in the future. The Online Safety Act is here to stay. It's going to spread to the European Union, it's going to spread to the EES countries, and it's going to come to America as well. Just give it another 10 years, as the slippery slope that has been the internet has continued to degrade year over year over year, until China will look like a fucking paradise by comparison. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Till then, have a good day.